and welcome back to Swift Bike Repair. Today we're going to be taking apart a wheel hub, cleaning it out, re-greasing it, and putting it back together. This is for the Schwinn Varsity bike. Enjoy! Okay, so for this project, you will need a PW5 wrench, 4 and 3 multi-tool, a 17mm wrench, and this might change depending if you have the road bike. I saw it was a 13mm with the road bike, 17mm with this one. You're going to have some locking pliers and some grease, and I use Belroy's. Here's a diagram of what we're going to be doing. Basically, you have a seal here that keeps all of the dirt and grime out of your wheel hub, and then you have a washer and a nut on both sides, and you have all of these ball bearings on the inside of your wheel hub. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing everything and cleaning the assembly completely, taking out all the old grease and dirt and grime, and then we're just going to re-grease it. And we are going to replace everything, set it back the way that we want it set, free spinning, and then we're done. So it's a fairly easy process, and I think any beginner can learn how to do this and immensely reduce friction on their bike. You're also going to want a good pair of cleaning brushes. I have a steel, a longer brush, and just a shorter version as well. Okay, here you can take a look at the assembly itself. We have the nut on the outside, we have the seal, and there is a washer in there as well. So right in here is where all of your ball bearings are. We're going to be taking this all apart, and then we'll be able to get in there and clean it out. Alright, so I'm just going to be taking off the nuts and bolts for this. Starting with the outside ones. So quick note, I'm using the locking wrench here to hold this pin once I have taken off that outer nut, just because we still have to take off this nut on the other side. Keeping that locking wrench on there, we're going to turn it around, and this is where that PW5 tool, it's a very specialty tool and it just fits perfectly right there. It's a 15mm tool, and before we do that, there's a small washer that you have to remove. Okay, so there you have it. You have your nut, there's a washer on there, a seal, washer, nut, and this is your pin right there. I like to keep one side just the same as your setting, just so that you can save it for later. And inside of your wheel, you can see your bearings in there. So now we're going to try to remove the bearings, and you need a small tool for that, and you just kind of try to scrape them out of there, and then we'll clean everything. Okay, so I'm counting 10 bearings here per side, And so now I'm just going to clean everything, and then I'll take the bearings out of the other side and we'll clean out the wheel hub itself. Alright, so for my cleaning solution I like to use this Simple Green, and with Simple Green you cut it with half water. So I've already put the solution into here, and now I just drop in all of my parts. And scrub all the old grease off. Okay, so now you just take your hose, you spray all the grease out. So once your towel is coming out fairly clean, and you can see the chrome inside your wheel, you are ready to put everything back together. Okay, so part of putting everything back together is going to be greasing the hub again. So, as I said, I use this Bell Raised grease, and I've just always used it. And that's what my dad uses as well. So you're just going to want to put enough in there so that your ball bearings will actually stick inside there without moving around. Once you have them all lined up like that, you can start on the other side. I like to put the seal back on before starting on the other side to get them all lined up perfect. I also do that so that they don't fall out. Okay, so I've greased it up and I've put my ball bearings in. The last step is to grease your pin so that you don't have any rubbing on the inside of the hub assembly. And I even grease the screw part as well. So I'm going to stick my pin through, and right here you want to be careful not to push your other seal out, and you can start screwing in your seal from the other side. Okay, so how you know if it's tight enough is if when you free spin it, you don't feel a gravelly sensation in your hands and you're not feeling that friction. So it just has to be loose enough to not feel that, and then you're able to put on your washer. Now these washers do have a small groove in them, and it corresponds with the groove on the wheel. Basically, the idea behind these washers is that once you have it set, your nut that you're putting on next shouldn't change that setting. It might take a little adjusting once you have finished to get back to that point of free spin. And there you have it. So we have successfully cleaned out our hub. Thanks for watching. Next we're going to be changing out the hub in the crankshaft, so stay tuned. Thanks, subscribe.